My name is Jude Larsen.
And my name is Robert Medeiros.
We worked with Emily Ahn and Dr. Roselli in the Davies Psychology Department. The title of our project is The Influence of Mindfulness on the Perception of Effective Words and Cognitive Flexibility. Mindfulness disposition is a person's inclination toward a receptive, non-judgmental form of attention. Mindfulness influences neural responses of effective image processing in that it fosters a more adaptive response to negative images. Therefore, mindfulness has the potential to influence alexithymia, impairments in the experience, communication, and regulation of emotions. This suggests that mindfulness exposure may be an effective way to decrease the presence of alexithymia. However, the relationship between mindfulness disposition and alexithymia have not yet been examined. Mindfulness also influences cognitive flexibility, the ability to shift attention between tasks or update working memory based on new information. However, most research in this area focuses on comparing experienced meditators to novices, or following a training period. The effects of mindfulness disposition on cognitive flexibility have yet to be explored.
For the hypothesis, this study aims to expand on the dynamic relationship between mindfulness disposition, emotional identification, affective perception, and cognitive flexibility using both behavioral and electrophysiological outcomes. The current study plans to address this relationship by characterizing a sample of undergraduate students by high and low mindfulness disposition that is quantified as a median split of the 5-facet mindfulness questionnaire. In terms of affective perception, it is hypothesized that individuals with higher levels of mindfulness disposition will exhibit lower levels of alexithymia. As an exploratory feature, we plan to examine the influence of alexithymia on mindfulness disposition levels. Further testing using an emotion word rating task is expected to reveal adaptive neural responses in the high trait mindfulness group compared to the low trait mindfulness group. We expect individuals with higher levels of mindfulness disposition to rate affectively negative words as less negative than individuals with lower levels of mindfulness disposition. We do not expect any appreciable differences between groups for positive or neutral words because mindfulness impacts our perception of negative experiences. In terms of cognitive flexibility, it is predicted that the higher levels of mindfulness disposition will display enhanced performance on the Wisconsin card sorting test, as indicated by lower accounts of rule perseveration.
This project is part of a larger study for a graduate student's thesis, and we are currently involved in online data collection for behavioral outcomes only, as in-person testing has been restricted. 90 to 250 participants will be recruited from FAU's subject pool. Mindfulness disposition will be assessed using the 5-facet mindfulness questionnaire. There is no form of monetary compensation for this study. The larger study features a pre-post design with computer tasks taken twice, but we will only consider the first exposure to the computer tasks for the present study. Additionally, the EEG components cannot be examined at this time as a direct result of the in-person testing restrictions. Participants will complete a word rating task and the Wisconsin card sorting test in randomized order. The word rating task requires participants to rate positive, neutral, or negative affective words using a Likert scale of 1 to 9. The word rating task behavioral outcomes are the average rating for each category. The Wisconsin card sorting test requires participants to match a stimulus card to one of 4 others according to an unknown rule that periodically updates. The Wisconsin card sorting test outcome is the percent of rule perseveration after negative feedback or incorrect scoring. At the end of the experiment, participants complete the 5-facet mindfulness questionnaire and the Toronto alexithymia scale to assess mindfulness disposition and alexithymia respectively.
We will conduct a correlation analysis between mindfulness disposition and total alexithymia scores. Additionally, we will conduct 3 one-way NOVAs to examine group differences in positive, neutral, and negative affective word ratings. Lastly, to examine the influence of mindfulness disposition, high versus low, on card sorting rule perseveration, a one-way NOVA will be conducted. The age and gender of participants will be examined for any group differences and will be entered into the analyses as covariance if significant relationships emerge. For expected outcomes, we expect an inverse relationship between mindfulness disposition and alexithymia because individuals who are not as mindful or attentive to the present moment may struggle with identifying and describing their emotions. Additionally, we expect higher mindfulness disposition to diminish the negativity of negative word ratings, but no group differences are expected for positive or neutral words. Mindfulness, by design, impacts the perception and experience of negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So we only expect mindfulness to impact the negative word ratings. Lastly, We expect the individuals with higher levels of mindfulness disposition to display lower levels of rule perseveration, because mindfulness cultivates an adaptive, non-reactive mentality that fosters self-awareness of one's thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations. Therefore, it is plausible to infer that increased self-awareness results in more flexible thinking.
This project could elucidate the positive impacts of increased mindfulness disposition on alexithymia, affective perception, and cognitive flexibility, making mindfulness an attractive mental training for non-clinical samples.